When the Grand Elder of the Flower Sect witnessed Xiao Yan refining the bone's spirit cold fire and causing extraordinary phenomena in heaven and earth, his face was filled with solemnity and shock. He can actually create a heaven-rank technique on his own? As the story picks up from the previous chapter, in the sky, the Grand Elder of the Flower Sect turned his gaze towards Hua Jin and said indifferently, "Since you have lost, hand over the sect master's jade tablet to Yuewen." Gazing at the floating jade tablet before her, Yuewen did not reach out to take it. She had no interest in the position of sect master, and due to the shadows of the past, the last thing she wanted was to continue holding the position. Xiao Yan, seeing Yuewen's hesitation, urged, "Yuewen, take it." Yuewen glared at him, bit her lip, and whispered, "Take the token, become the sect master, and then let you show off your power again?" Xiao Yan, after hearing this, said with some embarrassment, "It's been so many years. Why do you still remember these things? No one was right or wrong about what happened back then." Yuewen replied, "I don't want to listen to this reasoning." Her eyes slightly red. She knew that from Xiao Yan's standpoint, he was not wrong, but the Yunlan sect was the place she had lived for many years, and it was dismantled by this guy just like that. After a moment of hesitation, Yuewen looked up at the white-haired elder and said respectfully, "I can temporarily act as the sect master. If you think there is a more suitable candidate, just let me know." Haha, I still trust the old sect master's judgment. Since she is willing to pass on her life's work to you, then you must be the most perfect candidate in her mind. Then her gaze swept the audience and said, "From now on, Yuewen will become the new generation sect master of the Flower Sect. All the disciples of the Flower Sect must obey her orders, otherwise, they will be punished according to the rules." As the voice of the white-haired elder fell, the disciples of the Flower Sect in the square knelt down one after another, and the respectful sound echoed, "Greet the sect master." Xiao Yan looked at the somewhat flustered Yuewen and laughed. "Congratulations, sect master Yuewen." Yuewen gave him a disdainful look, then sighed, "Every time this guy appears, he changes her life. What a nemesis." Yuewen's inauguration ceremony was not grand. After the ceremony, Xiao Yan did not leave in a hurry, but asked Yuewen to help find a quiet room. At this moment, the resistance of the bone's spirit cold fire had completely dissipated, and it was the best time for refining. In the quiet room, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged on the stone bed, and the refining began. He murmured a word, changed his handprint, and slowly closed his eyes. Xiao Yan had high expectations for this refining. Although the bone's spirit cold fire was not a big problem for him, it could not be underestimated. The most important thing was that his flame mantra had reached the advanced earth rank level, and he didn't know if it could be promoted to a heaven rank technique after swallowing the bone's spirit cold fire. In the quiet courtyard, there was a stone pavilion, and at this moment, there were 3 beautiful figures in the pavilion, but their gazes were all fixed on the tightly closed stone door at the end of the courtyard. "Xiao Yan has been a month. Why hasn't he come out yet?" Nalan Yan looked at the stone door and said softly. Yuewen shook her head slightly. "Don't worry, he should not have any problems with his current strength." But there was a trace of worry between her eyebrows. Since Xiao Yan entered the quiet room, the energy that filled it became more and more hot, and this change also attracted the attention of some elders of the Flower Sect. Although they didn't say anything, Yuewen could feel their worry. After experiencing the terrifying fire lotus performed by Xiao Yan, they were really afraid that Xiao Yan would cause huge destruction again and turn the Flower Sect into ruins. "This guy is really not at ease," Yuewen said with a wry smile, rubbing her forehead. In order to appease the worries of the elders, she spent a lot of effort, but this situation could not continue. The energy in the quiet room became more and more violent, and it might even take measures by the Grand Elder. In contrast, Qing Lin leaned lazily against the pavilion railing, her innate heterochromatic eyes naturally able to perceive Xiao Yan's current situation, so there was no unnecessary worry. "It seems that today is still the same. Let's go," Yuewen said helplessly after waiting quietly for more than an hour and stood up. As Na Lan Ran was about to turn around, she suddenly felt a vibration under her feet. She stumbled, hurriedly held the stone pillar next to her, and her face showed a shocked look. This was the sound coming from the quiet room. Yuewen stopped in her tracks, her beautiful eyes turned sharply to the quiet room. This movement seems to be a bit big. We'd better leave here. As soon as the words fell, Yuewen and the other three figures quickly rose into the sky. Just as the three of them rose into the sky, the top of the quiet room suddenly exploded. The hot smoke quickly filled, causing the temperature between heaven and earth to rise sharply. Then a clear and long howl rang out from the quiet room, rushing straight into the sky. The howl was mixed with an extremely powerful breath, spreading like thunder to every corner of the flower sect. Under this howl, people kept appearing in various places of the flower sect, standing in the sky, looking at the direction from which the howl came in surprise. Some people with extraordinary vision turned their surprise into shock after sensing that breath. Why has Xiao Yan's breath suddenly increased so much? The strength of this breath is probably at the level of the peak of the 4 stars. What kind of spiritual pill did this guy eat? And his strength has surged to this level in just a month. Feeling this powerful breath, many elders of the flower sect couldn't help but take a breath. This speed of strength improvement was too terrifying. To reach this level, normal cultivation may take 10 years, and Xiao Yan has completed it in a month, which is indeed extraordinary as a disciple of Yao Chun. In a place in the sky, the Grand Elder of the flower sect nodded slightly and murmured, "The howl is like thunder, but there will be a time when it dissipates." However, at the moment when the howl dissipated, the blue sky suddenly surged with layers of thick, dark clouds, and the wind between heaven and earth was fierce. This sudden scene made everyone panic and look blank. Heaven and earth anomalies. The Grand Elder of the flower sect was also slightly stunned by this scene, and after a moment, it seemed that he thought of something. His gaze turned sharply to the place where the quiet room was, and finally a look of disbelief surged in his eyes. This is the emergence of a heaven rank technique. Generally speaking, the anomalies of heaven and earth can be roughly divided into 3 situations. One is that the emergence of high-level pills will attract the arrival of pill thunder. The second is that when the cultivation reaches a certain realm, it will also attract this situation. But this situation is relatively rare, because the people who can reach this level are rare in the entire Dochi continent. As for the third situation, it is the so-called heaven rank technique or fighting skills. The emergence here does not mean that the technique or skills are re-emerging, but a kind of emergence from nothing. Only when some heaven rank techniques or skills are created will it attract this kind of anomaly of heaven and earth. At present, there is no fragrance of pills in the sky, obviously not the emergence of high-level pills. As for the second situation, it can also be directly ruled out, although Xiao Yan's strength has increased greatly, but it is far from enough to cause anomalies of heaven and earth. However, it has to be said that the insight of this white-haired elder is indeed extraordinary, and in just a few breaths, he has figured out the origin of the anomaly of heaven and earth through various guesses. The white-haired elder looked at the quiet room with white smoke in the distance. Even she was solemn and shocked, creating a heaven-rank technique or skill. How many people can do this on the current continent? Even Yao Chun, who has reached the level of half Doshang, may not have such an ability. Under the gaze of countless eyes, the quiet room trembled again, and a hot column of air was ejected from the middle, and on top of the column, a figure stood steadily. This person is Xiao Yan, who has been in seclusion for a month. At this moment, he looked at the anomaly in the sky slightly stunned, and after a moment, he seemed to understand something, waved his sleeve. An invisible soul fluctuation spread from his eyebrows, and then the thick black clouds in the sky stopped rolling and slowly dissipated. Has it evolved into a heaven-rank technique? After the black clouds dissipated, Xiao Yan rubbed his hands and thought, Fenju was played again. It should have just broken through the advanced earth rank level. It is quasi-heaven rank, not the real heaven rank. It is said that once the real heaven rank technique is played, it can absorb all the energy within 100 zhang around for its own use. The technique I showed before still has some gap with the real heaven rank. Xiao Yan looked thoughtful and said in his heart, I didn't expect the evolution to the heaven rank to be so harsh. But fortunately, the strength has now reached the level of 4-star Dozun. While Xiao Yan was pondering for a while, a helpless but gentle voice sounded in his ear. How long are you going to daze here? He smiled at Yuewen and suddenly reached out and held Yuewen's hand. Yuewen said, "Little rascal, are you addicted to being a hooligan?" Hearing Yuewen's angry voice, Xiao Yan was stunned, looked at her blushing cheeks, and said, "Let me help you check the Douqi seal in your body." Yuewen was also stunned, and then still looked at Xiao Yan suspiciously. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan showed a trace of helplessness on his face, and a soul force entered her body along the palm of her hand. The seal set by Grandma Hua is too strong, and with your current strength, the refining speed can be faster. Xiao Yan let go of Yuewen's hand and said, "Rest assured, the matter of the seal is handed over to me." A strange emotion surged in Yuewen's heart, and she looked at the smiling young man in front of her, feeling that it was really good to have someone to rely on. Yuewen looked at Xiao Yan's frowning brow and smiled. In the room, Xiao Yan looked at Yuewen sitting cross-legged on the soft bed and said, "I will forcibly tear the seal later." Yuewen responded softly, and her cheeks were still a little red at the moment, because she didn't understand why she impulsively brought Xiao Yan into her bedroom to unseal. She could have found a secret room, but she chose here, especially when she first came in. Xiao Yan's strange expression made her have the urge to find a crack to get in. Xiao Yan's 2 fingers bent, and a strand of brown with white flame slowly emerged from the fingertips, like lightning, and fell heavily on Yuewen's back. Although Xiao Yan did not increase the temperature of the flame, the high temperature contained still burned Yuewen's back clothes into ashes. The sudden coolness made Yuewen scream, but Xiao Yan's serious voice made her have to restrain the fluctuations in her heart and protect her own meridians. "I'm going to break the seal." The strange fire shuttled through the meridians under Xiao Yan's control and finally arrived at the place where the Douqi was sealed. After a slight adjustment, it slammed hard against the solid seal. "What a strong Douqi!" Xiao Yan's eyes flashed with a touch of admiration. At this moment, Yuewen's slightly closed eyes suddenly opened, and the eyes surged with a strong Douqi. "Is the seal cracked?" A trace of joy appeared on Yuewen's cheeks. She looked up at Xiao Yan, only to find the other party staring at her strangely. Xiao Yan's gaze made Yuewen feel confused. She slightly lowered her head, and her cheeks instantly became fiery. Because of the outbreak of Douqi just now, her clothes had completely burst open. At the moment when her cheeks were red, Yuewen screamed, then grabbed the quilt on the bed and completely wrapped her charming body, hiding in the quilt. Yuewen's face improved a bit, raised her pretty face, and stared at Xiao Yan timidly and said, "Why are you still looking?" Xiao Yan coughed dryly, calmly withdrew his gaze and said, "It's not my business. The clothes were opened by yourself." Hearing his words, even Yuewen couldn't bear it. Seeing Yuewen showing signs of anger, Xiao Yan didn't dare to entangle in this topic anymore, and hurriedly asked, "How do you feel now?" Yuewen said, "It's okay. You tore the seal, and the Douqi is gushing out continuously, just within the range I can refine." Xiao Yan nodded slightly, pondering and said, "The Douqi left by Grandma Hua is too powerful. If you can refine it completely, you may reach her level when she was alive. And you are still young. If there is any great opportunity in the future, becoming a half-dosheng is not impossible. I have many enemies in the Central Plains, and each of them is fierce. If you become a half-dosheng, I can also use your strength to suppress them." Hearing Xiao Yan's joke, Yuewen looked at his face without blinking, with a bit of silence and slight heartache. Everyone only saw his glory and achievements on the surface, but forgot how much effort he had paid to reach this point. Yuewen said, "I will refine the Douqi left by Grandma Hua as soon as possible, and will also strive to control the affairs of the flower sect." Suddenly hearing Yuewen's inexplicable words, Xiao Yan was stunned, looking at her cheeks, and finally understood the meaning, and was speechless for a while. Xiao Yan thought in his heart, "The most unbearable is the grace of a beauty." The atmosphere in the room suddenly became a bit warm. Xiao Yan coughed and broke the silence. "I will leave tomorrow, and if you encounter any trouble that you can't solve in the future, come to the Falling Star Pavilion to find me." Yuewen asked, "Are you leaving tomorrow?" Xiao Yan replied solemnly, "I can't stay here for too long. Otherwise it may attract the strong of the Soul Hall, and then it will bring trouble to you and the flower sect." Yuewen is not a person who doesn't understand the overall situation. Although she is a bit reluctant, she still nodded and said softly, "You must be more careful." Xiao Yan smiled slightly, and after a few more instructions to Yuewen, He turned and left. Looking at Xiao Yan's back, Yuewen bit her red lips and whispered, "So many years, still can't get rid of this little guy. Since that's the case for you, I will try harder." Yuewen was not very interested in improving her strength, but after seeing him again, she found that feeling seems to not fade with time. As time goes by, the feeling becomes more and more thick. She couldn't express this feeling. Yuewen just wanted to give some help behind him silently, because she knew that Xiao Yan was carrying too much and too tired alone. After solving Yuewen's seal problem, Xiao Yan said goodbye to everyone and left the flower sect with Qing, and then rushed to the falling star pavilion again. In the blue sky, suddenly a huge dark shadow flew across. This accelerating shadow was Xiao Yan and Qing. Qing said, "We have left the sphere of influence of the flower sect, and we should be able to reach the falling star pavilion in a few days." Xiao Yan nodded slightly, stroking the 9 Nether Earth underworld python under him, but a 7-colored sky-devouring python image flashed through his mind. "I don't know if there is really my child in Kalen's belly." Thinking of Kalen, his eyes showed a complex look. This Medusa queen, I don't know how she is doing now. With her strength, there should be few opponents in that area. Young Master Xiao Yan, it seems that something is wrong. Qing's pretty face changed slightly, and she said in a low voice. Being called back from his thoughts, Xiao Yan was certain, and his gaze slowly scanned around. At this time, they had come to a deserted mountain range, but it was strange that there was no beast roar in this mountain range, as if it was a dead place. Slowly standing up, Xiao Yan's gaze fell on the void not far ahead, and he said lightly, "Since you are here, why hide? Right, demonic flower evil lord?" As soon as Xiao Yan's voice fell, the space in front of him twisted, and 4 figures appeared out of thin air. The demonic flower evil lord said, "The kid's perception is not bad." One of them was the demonic flower evil lord who was defeated by Xiao Yan with the destruction fire lotus, and the other 3 were old men in gray robes. From the badges on their chests, it can be seen that they were all people from the Heavenly Abyss sect. "You ruined the great event of our Heavenly Abyss sect. Do you still want to leave like this? Don't think that Yao Chun has been promoted to half Dosheng, and our Heavenly Abyss sect dare not do anything to you." The demonic flower evil lord's smile showed a trace of sinister meaning, he said. Xiao Yan glanced at him and said calmly, "You can wait for so long. There should be someone to inform, such as Hua Jin from the flower sect." As soon as the voice fell, Xiao Yan's gaze turned to the forest below, and a figure appeared, which was Hua Jin. The leading old man said lightly, "Be obedient and be captured, and come back to the Heavenly Abyss sect with us. For the sake of Yao Chun, our Heavenly Abyss sect will treat you well. Otherwise, this place will be your burial place today." Xiao Yan smiled slightly and said softly, "With just the 4 of you, it's a bit too small to see me. It's just a 4-star dozun, and you are not qualified to be arrogant in front of us." The leading old man glanced at Xiao Yan indifferently, then stepped forward and said in a deep voice, "Let's do it together." Qing saw the other party starting to act, and a trace of gravity appeared on her face. "Young Master Xiao Yan, I will block one person, and the other will be dealt with by the strong of the 9 Nether Earth underworld python." As soon as the voice fell, a dozen figures appeared out of thin air in her green eyes, and then rushed towards Hua Jin under Qing's command. After summoning the sealed strong, Qing quickly made a seal with her hand, and the soul power of the ancient heavenly snake gushed out from her body. At the same time, Xiao Yan waved his palm, and 11 puppets appeared, instantly forming an array, and the energy transfer made the dark gold on the celestial demon puppet become deeper. "Young Master Xiao Yan, I will take the lead," Qing said lightly, and her figure rushed out like lightning. "I want to see if you can escape from the palm of our Heavenly Abyss sect today. Remember my name, the Sunluo Ghost Dozun of the Heavenly Abyss sect." Xiao Yan's back trembled, and the green and red bone wings spread out and quickly retreated. He flicked his fingers, and the celestial demon puppet turned into a golden light to intercept a strong man of the Heavenly Abyss sect. Skyfire 3 mysterious changes. The first change, the second change, the third change. Seeing Xiao Yan's breath surge, Sunluo Ghost Dozun frowned and sneered, "Don't go easy on him. The Skyfire 3 mysterious changes have a time limit, Once the time is up, he will have nowhere to escape. The demonic flower evil lord nodded coldly, waved the folding fan, and stabbed towards Xiao Yan's throat. Faced with the fierce offensive, Xiao Yan slightly tilted his head, then clenched his fist and smashed it towards the demonic flower evil lord's head. Alert in his heart, the demonic flower evil lord quickly flipped his wrist to meet Xiao Yan's fist. However, when the dou qi and the flame made contact, a strange scene occurred, and all the dou qi that was contaminated with the flame almost instantly condensed into ice crystals. This strange fire is really strange. When Xiao Yan just wanted to chase the demonic flower evil lord, an old figure suddenly appeared in front of him. A black, big hand pierced through the space like a ghost claw and grabbed Xiao Yan's head in a flash. Feeling the cold wind brought by the black, big hand, Xiao Yan did not retreat. The flame in the palm quickly swirled, and then he punched out fiercely and collided fiercely with the black, big hand of Sunluo Ghost Do Zun. When the fist and palm met, the momentum surged out, and both Xiao Yan and Sunluo Ghost Do Zun trembled and took a few steps back. Taking the opportunity of Sunluo Ghost Do Zun's retreat, Xiao Yan glanced at the battle circle where Qing Lin was, and the situation was not bad. With the help of the strange ability of the Azure Serpent Triflower Pupil and the soul of the ancient Heavenly Snake, she could temporarily hold back the strong of the Heavenly Abyss sect. However, apart from that, the situation in the other two battle circles was not optimistic. The Celestial Demon Puppet could only compete with a 4-star Do Zun, but the Elder of the Heavenly Abyss sect was a 6-star Do Zun. In such a duel, the Celestial Demon Puppet was naturally at a disadvantage. The strong man controlled by Qing Lin was also in a bad situation, although there were many people, but the strength was far from Huajin. After Xiao Yan quickly scanned the various battle circles, he frowned slightly, and now the situation is a bit tricky. The people of the Heavenly Abyss sect are not as easy to deal with as imagined. Sunluo Ghost Do Zun shouted loudly, "Kid, at this time, you should take care of yourself first." Xiao Yan said, "Heavenly Abyss Azura's Hand, Flame Division and Tide Subduction Ruler, Open Mountain Seal. Today, I will see how resistant you are." Sunluo Ghost Do Zun's eyes flashed, and he said sharply, "Heavenly Abyss Azura's Hand?" Xiao Yan sneered, and a similarly fierce aura burst out from his body, forming a similarly huge black hand in a short time, and violently collided with that black hand, and then slowly dissipated while eroding each other. The intention to kill also quietly dispersed. The faces of the three people were all a bit pale. You actually also know one of the unique skills of our Heavenly Abyss sect, the Heavenly Abyss Azura's Hand. Sunluo Ghost Do Zun looked at Xiao Yan in disbelief. Don't give him a chance to relax, he has also consumed a lot. The demonic flower evil lord said in a deep voice on the side. Sunluo Ghost Do Zun nodded slightly, just about to make a move again, and then he slowly opened his hands, and the energy of heaven and earth boiled violently like boiling water, pouring into Xiao Yan's body endlessly. The paleness on his face gradually dissipated. This is a heaven rank technique. Seeing this scene, Sunluo Ghost Do Zun and the other two were almost stunned immediately. No wonder we can't cause too much damage to him no matter how we attack. It turns out that this guy has a heaven rank technique. In the midst of their horror, Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes and said sarcastically, "Come again."